Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. If this is your first time here, then welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I truly appreciate you coming back. Today we're doing a new to me designer. She actually has quite a few different patterns that are absolutely gorgeous. Crafts Fully Made made this beautiful, fun Rosie Mini Wallet. Now, the features to this wallet is you get 2 credit card slots, an ID pocket, and it comes in 2 different styles. It finishes about 4 1/4 of an inch to 3 3/8 of an inch tall. I'm sorry. This wallet is super cute. This is great for a scrap buster. As you can see, you have a snap. You have two credit card slots, and I shove these with credit cards so you can do way more than 2. And you have an ID, and when you can slide to protect your ID so it doesn't slide in and out. It has a really cool design where the little tab is connected to the ID window so your cards don't slide out either way. And you can connect it with either this is a key ring. You can do a D ring, O ring. I actually am thinking about adding a lanyard or a swivel hook, so that way it could be kind of cute where you can just clip it in the inside of your bag, especially for people that are going back to school. You finish it off with a little bit of edge painting. My edge painting is kind of rough today because my Gardini accident, it's clumpy, but I did some stuff to help make it not as clumpy so I can help with this video. So we're going to be remaking this wallet today, and I'm going to give you the components that you need. First and foremost, you're going to need to cut out all your pattern pieces. Your pattern pieces are going to include a clear vinyl for your ID window. You're going to need to cut out your stabilizer pieces. There's 2. You're going to have 1 credit card slot with a hole punch. There's markings on the credit card slot template. Your ID window, your snap closure. You're going to need your key ring tab and your other credit card slot, and then your 2 main body pieces. One of the body pieces will have Decovell Heavy and Decovell Light to help make this bag even more stabilized. I really like how it's not a whole lot of materials you need, but you can make a great gift for someone. Now, I'm going to be using the Snap Line 24. You can use a fashion tab. You can use a riveted magnet. It will be a little bit more bulky, but it can be done. A cam snap. We all have tons of these plastic cam snaps. That could be a possibility too for that. So I'm also thinking maybe a little bit of Velcro on one side of the tab, not where the hole is. Well, no, actually, because you wouldn't have a hole on the front of the tab. So Velcro, and have it Velcroed on the other side, maybe for a kid or someone that's like me that sometimes can't get buttons open. There's a lot of things I think you can do for different hooks and closures. So just keep that in mind. The possibilities are endless. You're going to need some double-sided tape. This is 1/8 of an inch. We're going to need, again, if a ring, a ring or an oval key ring. There's so many different closures. I'm using a 1/2 inch D ring. And then we need a male, 2 males, and 2 females for the rivets, which they were nicely stacked and now one is MIA. That's how it goes, right? So there it is. And then if you are using a snap, you would need either your handheld press or your stuff for your cam snap. So without further ado, let's go on. Oh, before I go on, in the description section, the designer was so generous enough to give us 10% off of any of her patterns. So I'll have the code in there. Today, you probably are getting this film on June 8th or June 9th. These codes only work for 30 days. So by July 9th or July 10th of 2023, this code will no longer be available. And I'm sorry, but I will put that in the description box too. It was incredibly generous that someone is giving us a discount on their art, and I truly do appreciate it. So in this pattern, she's generous to have actually labels, so that can truly help you, or you can clip your pattern pieces to it. There's different, 2 different styles. I personally like this nice style that we're doing right here where it's like 2 big scallops, but there is a one that will be super cute as like a rainbow pattern. If you have any kind of rainbow fabric, this is something that will totally highlight it, or even like Super Mario and like Mario's on the tab and this is the clouds. There's so many options. And I like these little keyring scrunchie themes. I remember having those when I was a kid, and this made me super like get that nostalgia feeling. And I'm like, yes, bring me life, or bring me back to when going to the ice cream van. It was like, what is it called? You know, where you get the ice cream and the candy. Was like the most important thing to me. So when you first start, you're gonna want to interface your pieces. Now she has her pieces fully interfaced from end to end. What I notice is that when we edge paint, the Decoville Light has a tendency of absorbing a lot of product. So what I usually do is I cut off about a 1/8 of an inch, or a scant 1/4 of an inch on each side. So that way when I'm edge painting, that it's not taking this in an account, as well as that reduces a little bit of bulk. I will give you suggestions on bulk throughout it. There's 2 different styles for each print. There's a fold over style and stitch, and then there's a raw edge where you can edge paint it and stitch. Right now we're going to be doing the raw edge. I just personally like that style, and I'm going to bring it over to my machine and I'm going to sew this at 1/8 of an inch. And you want to lock in your stitches because none of them are going to be invisible. So back stitch 1 or 2 stitches. And I'm using a 70 weight thread. But I on my first one, I used 40 weight on my smaller Juki. So this is super domestic friendly. And then I'm going to grab my other card slot and do the same thing. When you see how fast this comes together, you're going to love it. And I think this is a great scrap buster, a great gift. And if anyone that has to wear an ID for work, this can be an awesome lanyard so they can put their money for any food vendors as well as vending machines. And they can have all the essentials that they need right at their chest. So that way they've got it all. We're going to top stitch the top part of this, our credit card slot. Our ID window. Now, you don't have to do that. You don't have to top stitch. It's just an extra decorative thing. But if you're like, no, I like the way it looks, I totally understand you. I have done that plenty of times, and I prefer it sometimes like that. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to hop on over to the next step, the snap closure. She gives you 2 different ways of doing it, where if you don't want raw edges, you're going to cut out the pattern pieces that she has and look at piece A and B, and she shows you how you sew around and you make the 2 holes. I'm doing where I matched. I didn't do this on my machine. This does come with SVG files for a Cameo and a Cricut, so you can have all these cut out. I hand cut it because the pieces are relatively nice shape, but if you have issues with hand cutting, there is a machine for it. So you can, if you use your Silhouette, have at it. So we're going to top stitch this 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and just be a little bit careful at the front of the tab because it's not quite, it's beveled. It's not a full circle around it. It's like a beveled. So just take your time, 1 stitch at a time, and make sure you back stitch well at the beginning and end. Now, if you did it where you have no raw edges, then you could just proceed on to the next step. If you have raw edges, it's time to edge coat if you wish. So what I like to do ahead of time is I like to glue my 2 pieces together and edge coat first. Let me get a better view. I'm sorry about that. I like to glue my 2 pieces together and then edge coat first and then top stitch. I know it sounds backwards, but I have had many times where I top stitch something really pretty and then I edge coat and it bleeds and I wind up scrapping it. So what I do now is I edge coat first and then I sew my lines of stitching. I know it's weird. I get it. We're going to hop on over to page 9 and we're going to grab our snaps. So we're going to grab our smaller pocket and we're going to put in our snap. So what I like to do is a couple things. For mine to have the nice button on the back, it's actually the female part, which is, I know, awkward. And the male part is the raw edge. So I'm going to grab the male part of my machine, of my cam snap. And the male part goes with the spring and the spring loader. And I'm just going to stick that in there. And I have a cam snap. I don't have a cam snap. I'm sorry. I automatically say that because everyone says it. I have a snap from Minkus and Margot that I got from Etsy. They're a small mom and pop shop, but I just absolutely love them. I put the bottom. And if you guys want more information about that, just put a comment and I'll give you the link. They have so many different dies and so many different setups, and they answer all the questions, and they have videos with most of their dies that they carry. So I'm going to, this is one layer. So you could put a piece of Decoville light and fuse it to the back. What I like to do, I like to get washers. I usually get leather washers, but I don't have any cut out. So my fast and easy washer set is like, I get a plastic washer that you can get at your local hardware store or even on Amazon. People use it for hardware all the time, like when they're doing, like, you know, for the house with nuts and bolts. And this will help prevent it from pulling on just one layer, just helping it out a little bit. See, there's a little nub right here. I'm going to place the circle part. As you can see, I placed the back and the washer right on it. And I could put a washer right on top of here just to give it that extra security. But no, I'm good. It's going to be good because this is not a very heavy thing. I'm going to place the circle onto the little nub, and I placed my male end of the cam snap in there already, and I'm just going to push down. And it's already attached. So I have this part done. We're now going to do the other side for the female portion. It takes way longer to unscrew and screw versus screwing them in, but it's worth it. I love this feature on bags. It's a great feature to have. You can definitely, again, use cam snaps, like the little plastic buttons, if that's what you have available. You can get a 24 line without having a rivet press. You can get a kit with the anvil and the dies relatively sometimes underneath the cost of $10. All right. And I'm gonna punch this hole a little bit bigger. All right. I punched it really snug. Okay, I'm putting the male portion of the snap in. So the flat part is the male and the female part is up here, and I'm going to press down, and there we go. I'm going to take these dies off and put the rivet one, because we'll be using that shortly. So that way we are not struggling later. I usually put all these in little Ziploc bags, labeling them, so that way if let's say I go a couple weeks without using it, I'm not lost. And I like to put a sample of the female and the male snap put together, so that way, again, I have visual references. So as you can see, when we do this, they snap. And because we put that washer there, it's not going to really pull on it if you get rough with it. Because sometimes these custom fabrics, they're a little bit weaker than marine vinyl because of the dye. They're so porous. So from here, we place the snap into the pockets. And next we are going to stitch down our little tab that we are going to have. I love this tape from the Garner Room. It just rips right off. It makes your job a little bit easier, not having to use scissors, because I feel like I have to dedicate scissors to everything. One for paper, one for double-sided tape, just a little bit of everything. All right, so we're going to stitch down 1/8 of an inch down both sides. Okay. And so we have this ready to go. So we have that part ready. And then you could just, if you want, place your ring of whatever you choose or your swivel hook and just have it clipped, ready to go. There's 2 ways you could put this in. You could sandwich it in, and or you could put it on the side like I did with the first one. And I really kind of prefer that. So now we're going to grab some double-sided tape, and I'm using 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on the top and on the bottom so that it can hold my clear vinyl while I am sewing top stitching. You can definitely clip if you have longer clips, but the double-sided tape just helps a little, kind of a lot actually, so I can just hold it in place. And then I'm going to take my clear piece of vinyl and I'm going to top stitch this all the way around 1/8 of an inch. You could pull the threads to the back if you want and have long tails and tie it off so that way it's a seamless row. I personally like to just stitch all the way around and just back stitch. I do 1 or 2 on the side and I like the way it comes out. Just 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and then we're going to back stitch this off. Okay, get all those tails, and we have that all squared away. And I'm just trying to trim my threads while I go so that way I don't have as much mess. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this piece is going to come over and snap down. We want to rivet this together so that way it becomes just like one piece. And again, if you want to put like a little washer, you could, but to be honest with you, because it's going through 3 layers of vinyl, it really doesn't need it. So we're just going to, those holes that we made in the beginning from with the pattern pieces, we're going to put them together, put a cap, and hear that snap, and we're going to set it. Okay, and now that it's set, it's one piece. And see, like when it comes across on that other side, it's going to be nice and easy. So what we're going to do from here is we are going to get some double-sided tape again. And we're going to use 1/8 of an inch tape on all 3 down and on the sides, not on the top piece, or we can't put our credit cards or our IDs in it, and that will be a shame. I'm just going to trim it up to make sure it doesn't exceed over. All right. If I can remember to press down my double-sided tape. Okay, and then I'm just going to take one of the main body pieces and line up the edges as best as I can and just press down that double-sided tape. We can't stitch until we have all the both body pieces completely assembled, so it could be one row of stitching. But look how cute that is. Got your little hearts. All right, so for this piece, we are going to mark, do some markings real quick. I'm going to use one piece of double-sided tape on the bottom, just so it can hold it. And place it on one of the main body pieces again. So before we try to put this second pocket, we're going to do a few things. One, we're going to mark 5/8 of an inch. I'm just using a chalk pencil, and we're going to backstitch and go across this pocket and make sure we backstitch the beginning and the end, 5/8 of an inch. This is so your credit cards don't get slide all the way down and it gets all lost and you're like trying everything to get the slot out. Like I have done that where the card slot was too big. So that was not fun. So we have that. We're going to then now put those two pieces. We follow the line from front to bottom and we top stitch. Now we're going to, if you're going to be sandwiching these in, you could do so. But the thing is about sandwiching, if you're trying to just have raw edges and you don't care, you don't want to edge paint, then it's be fine. If you put it in like this, the problem is that when you try to edge paint, it's going to be kind of difficult on both side seams. So that's why I waited to put it like this and just coat the edge of it and it snaps through. It's really your discretion. I also think the riveted is a little bit stronger, and if anyone is like me that's really hard on their wallets, then I always go for the rivet. So we're going to put some double-sided tape on this second pocket that has the snap already installed inside of it. Okay. And then we're just going to lay this right on top. Don't do it at the 5/8 of the inch or you're going to have your card slots matching and that's no good. You want it right underneath. Line it up as best as you possibly can with the tape. And then we have that. Then what we're going to do is take these two pieces and put them together. So what I like to do, you can use glue. I think glue works really well, but you're going to have to walk away and let it dry. If you're like, I don't want to do that, then for the sake of this video, I'm going to do double-sided tape. But I normally would just use glue, walk away, put a book over it and call it a day. So what I do is I like to put some double-sided tape definitely on the bottom. And these are for the main piece. And then I'm going to do it again on the top. And you can put double-sided tape in some areas and then glue the rest. It's definitely your decision. I prefer beacon glue and just putting like a book on top of it and walking away for like 30 minutes and then coming back. And then I'm just going to match them. Match raw edge to raw edge. And then and just get it as close as you can. And I'm just going around, and if the corners are not even, just trimming them up. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch, and we're going to go from one side, back one side, across. We're going to go, we'll start from this side. We're going to go down, across, up, and then we're going to go across the deep scallops and bring it back down. The reason why I go from this side is because I don't want to accidentally stitch on this side and get it caught up, and this gets caught, and then now I can't use the ID window. So let's start. And we're doing this at 1/8 of an inch. Take your time around the corners. You're going through a lot of layers, so just take your time. And when you get to the scallops, make sure if you do have to shift anything that you're down in the needle down position. And make sure you back stitch 1 or 2 stitches, and that is it. Now, if you were going to leave it as is and not edge coat, this is where you would just stop. You're good. You can trim it up and make sure everything's okay. For me, I'm going to be edge coating, and I'm trying to trim up the pockets so they're as flush as possible, but not going into my stitches, because if you do that, then you have to re-sew, and that's not ideal. But it's not a problem if you do this. It's not the end of the world, because you can just go over everything again with 1/8 of an inch from the other stitch. So you'll be sewing at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm just trimming everything up so everything is nice and flush with one another. I feel like that is key for edge painting, is having everything nice and flush. So having really nice sharp scissors is an awesome tool. And then make sure that all your pockets are sewn down, that nothing is like didn't get caught. That's another thing. You want to make sure everything got caught. All right. So from this point, this is now pretty flush. I'm going to get my lighter. Don't be afraid. And the material I'm using, the brown has like a flannel backing, and I'm just going to slightly singe the edge, so that way that there's no extra like little burrs. And you're just gonna go fast. You don't want to accidentally set something on fire. Ask me how I know. And I'm just making sure going through everything, making sure everything's flush, and making sure there's no rogue little furries, because I always get them. I always have that one where like there'll be an extra like little I don't know, fleece fur, especially if it's like a really fleece backing and not like a canvas. I can. So this is the point where you would need to put on your base coat. You would take whatever tool you use. I usually use, this is well loved. I usually use some kind of mechanism like that has a metal edge, so I can really rub the first layer of dense base coat in. And I then let this dry up. I'm going to walk away, and then I'm going to come back and sand it. So in the next, what I would do right now is you're going to take your base and you're going to put it all around the edges. So what I did last time is I kind of just tucked this into itself so it didn't get included. You go all around. It's not a big a big project, but this is like a perfect project to start edge painting with because it's not huge and so it's not intimidating. So I'm going to put this all the way around this, and in the next clip you're going to see what the first coat looks like without it being sanded, and then we will go over how I sand it. All right, I will see you back in the next clip. Okay, so at this point we put the first set of glue on, and I'm going to see if you can see a little bit better in this one. The glue is dried, kind of translucent, so it's really hard to see, but it became one smooth edge. So even though you can see the layers, the glue went in between the layers to create a making it one. So as you can see, I can't separate it because the glue is there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dremel. Let me get back to this view. I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to sand down this so it is nice and smooth. And then I'm going to add a second coat. Now, sometimes I could get away with 2 coats, but honestly, I use anywhere from 3 to 4. And this is a process because if you don't let the glue dry, it smudges, and if you don't let the base coat dry, it will smudge and you have to start over again, and it can mess up the sandpaper or whatever. Now I'm using a Dremel that's it's very well loved, but I also have used nail files. You can get nail files at like any beauty supply store, as well as sometimes grocery store, and I use that. You can get sandpaper at any hardware store, Lowe's, Walmart, Target, anywhere. I started using the Dremel because it just moves faster and I'm very impatient. So I'm going to show you what I do lightly, and then I'm going to apply a second layer of glue and then come back after that one's dry. So I'm going to use the low settings and I'm just smoothing this out. And what sometimes I do is I kind of bevel it on the side because in case any of the glue accidentally sorry, my dog decided that's when they want to bark, is like uneven or beveled, that's what I need to take care of it. So I'm going to continue to sand this. And take your time. This is a great project to start your edge coating on because it's so small and you can really hone in your skills and take your time. And Loki decided to come and grace his, no, Papa, I know, it's a tool. And you could do a higher setting if you wish. Just be a little cognizant that you don't accidentally sand down the vinyl that you're using, because that would be unfortunate. If you don't want to use a higher setting, you can use a higher grit so that it could be smoother. I'm just using what's inside the kit. It's I believe a 4010 or 408 grit. And just, as you can see, I'm kind of using this like where it's standing still. Some methods to help get the edges to be really nice and smooth. I don't want it to be clumpy. You want it to be nice and smooth to touch, because if you go put glue on it and it's lumpy in spaces, you're just adding to that lump. So I'm going to now shake up my glue. And then I'm going to, again, place my glue on and roll it over. When I come back, sorry about that. When I come back, I'll be sanding again. And then hopefully after that, because this is a smaller project, that we can start putting the base coat on. I mean, not the base coat, the edge paint on. I'll be back. Okay, so this is the third coat. It's as you can see, as it dries, it gets there's a clear opaque. These white parts means it could dry a little longer, but since I could touch it and it's not smudging it, I'm going to go ahead. This is a nice thick coat, and this is where I would like to be. So again, I have a Dremel, and the Dremel I'm using is a 7300. You can use whatever Dremel. This is one that you can get on Amazon, or I think we got this at Lowe's, my husband and I. I'm using 120 grit paper. It was a paper that came with the Dremel kit. So I'm going to put it on low. And I'm just going to sand it so it's even, so it doesn't look all wonky when I do this last part of edge painting. You can go higher. I always get worried because I have accidentally sanded one of my nails. Yeah, I know. But if you know me, you know I'm accident prone. So, but higher does get faster. So I'm just trying to get it smooth. And as you can see, I have like glue dust all over my hands. So this is ready to go. And the reason why you sand it for the last one, and hold on. The reason why you do the sanding again before you put the edge paint, it gives something for the paint to grip on. But as you can see, you get glue everywhere. It's all over my hand. So make sure you do this on a surface that's easily cleanable. Okay, so let's do some color theory real quick. I love Mojo Sew's paints. I speak super highly about them. The paints are just amazing, and the owner is amazing. And again, I like to support small businesses. So we're going to do a little bit of color theory. So you can mix, the primary colors come in blue, green, no, I'm sorry, blue, red, yellow, and I think I'm missing a color, but that's just where these are the three colors we're using right now. The combination of all three of these make this nice brown color. And what I did is I just basically took my time with each color. I make sure that before doing the color theory, I shake it up, and I'm going to add a few drops at a time. A little bit goes a long way, and if you have a dropper, it will be way more cleaner than me. I am a messy painter. I'm not going to even lie to you. But I'm going to shake it. As you can see, I already get paint all over my hands. What you want to do is you want to mix. Okay, you want to mix one or two colors in first, and then keep stirring until you bake it at 350 degrees. Just plain. Don't do that. You're going to wait until you stir it where all the colors, you can't differentiate the blue from the yellow. And then you're going to see if this is the brown that you like. I want a little bit of yellow. My hands are a hot mess, but I mean, you know what? I'd rather show you something real than I'm authentic. If you know me at all, you know that I am not a person that fakes the funk. Sometimes there's beauty in chaos, and sometimes people can't handle it, and I completely get it. This might not be the channel for you because I'm a little bit of chaotic. So as you can see, it's turning this really beautiful, rich brown color. And I'm just going to start a little bit more because I see a little hints of yellow and little hints of blue. As you can see, blue all over my hand, but I'll wash my hands when everything's done. What I'm going to do is take a wipe and get this off, because that The blue has a tendency to stain on me a little bit longer than everything else. I do not know why. So I'm just going to wipe my hands with a napkin real quick so that way I don't transfer any blue onto my project. I have glue dust everywhere. It's about right. All right, so what I'm going to do is that first you're going to need to figure out where you're going to put your bag to let dry. The problem with laying it flat is that the paint gravity automatically is going to want to let little drips come down, and what's going to happen is it's going to stick to your surface. So I try to find something where it can kind of teeter. There is a Helping Hands coming out. I think it actually comes out quite soon. She's shipping them out, Mojo Sews. It's a really cool design where it has like these little like binder-like clips that will help hold your project while it dries. Because if not, you're going to be kind of like me and you're going to have paint everywhere. So I like to start with the bottom first, and I kind of just this is really pretty, really rich color. Look how gorgeous that color is. It's like a definitely, you can see the blue undertones, but it's really pretty. I just kind of lace them on, and I kind of do a little bit at a time. I know everybody wants to be in a rush. The roller can work for you as well. I am not a huge roller fan. For some reason, I just can't get the hang of it. Everyone's different though, and if we all did things the same way, it would be boring. So I'm going to show you just an opposite way. And I'm lightly touching it. I'm doing a little bit at a time. And if this comes out wonky, you can still sand this down a little bit and do another layer of brown. But this is like freaking OPI nail polish. It's like really opaque. This is the reason why I love Mojo Sews paint, is it's not runny. So I feel like I'm not pressured to like, oh, I got to hold this way or this way because it's going to spill. It doesn't. It's a very thicker quality, and it could be because she's making these, and it's a fresher supply. So or just her formula. It's a really beautiful consistency. Take your time. And just enjoy the process. I know you're like, Shinova, yeah, enjoy it, because you're making something beautiful for yourself or for someone you care about or someone you're selling to. And they're really going to appreciate these little steps that you do that, you know, normal people don't see on a day-to-day basis. We see it because we're in this fabric world. But a lot of people who never picked up a sewing machine in their life, or a needle or thread, they're going to see this and they're going to be like, oh my God, you did this? How did you do this? And you're magic. So take your time. You have all the time in the world. If this batch you run out, then you can make another. Just try to remember how many drops of what you put in. And if you're like me, you're like, I'm eyeballing it. This is like the only time I eyeball stuff. Is because I feel fairly confident with this paint that everything's going to go okay. And see how I'm just like readjusting my hands and my fingers so that way I can move around this with greater ease. And I'm just going to do a little at a time. And when you're around the corners, I'm doing like feather-like brushes, something very light. Think of this as a nail polish application, or even if let's say you're into makeup, you don't dig in and like put all the makeup onto your brush. You usually flick it off because you want it to be a lighter touch. You don't want it to be like looking like you spray painted your face on. So even when you're doing FX makeup, it's lighter touches. You build up. You don't go in hard. I like FX makeup. I like turning into a character. It's super fun for me and it makes me super excited. Take your time. The reason why because of the consistency of this is the reason why I do recommend Mojo Sews, especially for newbie people that are brand new to edge painting, because it is thicker. You'll have a sense of feeling more in control, which is really important, because if you lose control, you have a tendency of not liking the project because it's not going the way you want it, which is understandable. See how beautiful that is? Woo, come on and shine. I ordered her top coat. That's being mailed. I should be getting that relatively soon. I'm excited to try her top coat. You know, like nail polish, sometimes top coat can make the biggest game changers, like matte, glossy, and just different things. So I'm really excited to try it. I'm always excited to try out her products because you could tell that she puts a lot of time in it. I don't know who she's getting her feedback from, but whoever they are, they're excellent, and keep them on your team. Yeah. Let's see. This is beautiful. Take your time. If it does a little leaking, it's okay. Just use your tools and you'll be fine. A little product goes a long way. This is really lovely. So before this dries, I'm just going to go over and make sure that I covered every area that had glue. Because sometimes you can miss some. It's fine. It's normal. Let's see. This is really nice. This, I didn't write down how many drops I put in each. So if you ask, I'm so sorry. I think this was a base paint I already used for the top of the strap, and it just came out really pretty. So there's a lot of different information about color theories. If you want to know more about it, definitely join Mojo Sew's Facebook group. They have people showing what they made with it. It's basically what we learned in elementary school about primary colors and mixing them to make it other colors. It's the same thing. You don't need a whole slew full of color paints. I believe the primary colors come in 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then she has black and white. Now, she does have really cool paints that are neon colors as well as glow in the dark. I'm really excited about the glow in the dark. I think this is an amazing product because it can really make your give you that one extra oomph. And it's a feasible amount for cost. And with not having a bazillion colors and paying a lot of money per bottle for someone else's match, you can match your own. You can't ask for more. So I'm going to let this dry. And when I come back, I'm going to show you the final and we will be done with this video. Again, I will put links to the pattern, the Rosie Mini Wallet, and you purchase the pattern on Etsy. There's a 10% discount code that runs to the end of, I believe, 30 days from today's date. So you guys are going to be getting it on the 9th. I want to say July 10th or something along those lines. I'll put the date specified of 2023. So if you're looking at this video after July of 2023, I apologize. This coupon code is no longer around, but you can still get this beautiful pattern and support an artist. I will put a link to Mojo Sew's paints and follow the group because her stuff sells out really quick and she tries to get the next batch as soon as possible. She does make make her paints from home and she does an amazing job. She uses reusable, the bottles are glass and she uses reusable stuff where you can buy refills to fill up your glass containers. She puts expiration dates on it, which I could tell you that's huge because I'm looking at a bottle of Gardini that does not have an expiration date. So I have no idea even when it was made. And that's probably why I had some difficulties with it. The consistency and it seizing up into a ball. It was not the best time, but I did get help with some other sewists that was showing me how I can utilize and loosen up the glue, and some of the tricks really did work. I'll get into that in another video. So I'll put links to everything, and I will be back right after in a moment. Okay, so we are back, and this is all done. Smooth as a... My brother used to say that, so if I say it, it's just out of nostalgia. It's nice and smooth. You have your nice snap. We have 2 cards and our ID window. And just to give you some point of reference, here's the second one. And I still have paint all over me. It's okay. So nice and smooth. That's what I love about Mojo Sews. Her paint goes in really nicely. So I'm going to put the reference link to the reference link in the description box. I'll put the Rosie Mini Wallet information where you can purchase it on Etsy, and there will be a code you can use to get 10% off between June 9th through June 10th through July 10th. I think, what did it say today? Oh, so no, sorry. June 9th, 2023 through July 9th, 2023. She has tons of beautiful other patterns, and you can use that coupon code to get 10% off as well. I'm going to put a link to Mojo Sews Facebook group, Mojo Sews business, and her Instagram. I highly recommend you to follow her on one of her social media platforms, because this is where you get information about drops and other like cool things that she's coming up with. Like, I'm really excited about the helping hands, where it'll be like, they're like little clips that hold your bag in place while things are drying. I can't talk today. All the words are gone. So I really appreciate you and coming to sew with me and to edge paint with me and seeing the chaos I still have. To get edge paint off your hands, I highly suggest getting exfoliating gloves. I do have some cheap ones I got at the Dollar Tree, or you can get it sometimes in those little Target bins, and they're tagged just for edge painting, because I am horrible. It does come off easily, but for some reason it likes to stick to me. So I just wanted to give you all the information. If there's something in this video that I did not describe, comment down below. I will be responsive and try to give you where I purchased something at, as well as if there's another pattern that from this designer you would like to see me do a sew along for, or a tutorial, please let me know. So until the next time we speak, I hope everyone stays safe and happy sewing. Goodbye. I almost forgot something. You need to, in order for this to be a attachable or to clip it to something, you need to actually rivet it. Or like I said in the beginning, you could definitely sandwich it in between 2 layers. It could just be a little tricky when you're edge painting. So I decided to opt for riveting it on. I just like the way it is. And I also edge painted the ends of this, so that way it can look a little bit more finished. I'm going to thread the mel through and bring it through to the back. And then from here, I'm just going to thread it through here. I like to finger set, that sounds weird, but I like to hear that set before I bring out my press, like so. That has alcohol wipes on it. And I'm going to set the rivet, and we're good to go. We have a beautiful mini Rosie wallet. Like I said, there will be a discount code, which is my name, Shanova, in all caps, CHANOVA. And this will run from today all the way through July 9th, 2023. If you're watching it afterwards, the coupon will expire, and I apologize for that. But again, supporting local artists and artists in period is a wonderful thing. And this designer is truly unique, and I'm excited to do her patterns. If you have any questions, please put comments down below. I believe I'm pretty responsive, and I will be able to help you. So again, I just want to say Rosie Mini Wallet, all faux leather, we're going to edge paint. You don't have to edge paint if you don't have it available. Any tools that I used in the video and you want to know the names of, I will provide that definitely if you ask. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And see, I didn't forget. Happy sewing.